Ooh, we hold this child. Oh, why was it on mute? Can you hear now, guys? Dang, y'all missed all the cute claps and claps. Come on, one person. Okay, they can hear. Okay, one more time. Hey, live. Period. Okay, I'll just do a little repeat just for y'all. The internet did make me, so I will go ahead and say, hello. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Thank you for coming. And once again, thank you, everybody, for having me. Okay, so this is our Back-to-Basics astrology class presented by moi, Jade. We're taking it back to basics. So what happened was I was in the bathroom the other day talking to this absolute cutie patootie Leo, and we were just talking, and then she was like, oh, what's your Instagram? And I'm like, oh, this is my Instagram. And then she said, wait. She was like, you look a little familiar. And then she went to Twitter and she said, oh, and I was like, oh my gosh. She was like, oh my gosh. But see, she hadn't been on Twitter, so she didn't know I had changed my hair and my color. So she was like, what the hell? And then we started talking, and I'm like, oh, well, let me see your chart. And I'm like, oh, we have our Mercury at the same degree. She's like, what are you talking about? And she's was like, child, I fell off my astrology. And I said, maybe I need to do a back to basics. And she was like, no, you should. With Imani, and I was like, girl, I got recognized again. She was like, you need to do a class here. And I was like, huh? Okay. So if you're a generator, then that is response. That's what it's like to be in response. For those of you that may not know, we also study human design here in addition to astrology. Human design is the study of your unique energetic pattern. It's how you are uniquely meant to interact with the world and how the world should interact with you. So when you are a generator in human design and you're moving about your life and you're trying to decide what you should do or what might be fun for you to do, we operate in response. Things come in response. So while you're moving and grooving throughout life, something that did not necessarily come from your head, something outside of you that you can see, hear, touch, taste, or smell with your physical senses comes up to prompt you into action. So that was a prompt. I also have projected channels in my human design, and when you have projected channels, you will notice that you also get invitations, much like a projector. However, invitations are not the guiding force of my life, but they do play a role. So I always pay attention when people invite me to things. I was invited twice to move to Chicago, invited to do this class, so I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I'm paying attention. And usually when you have those projected channels or when you're in response and you're following that, that's how you know that things will usually pretty work out well for you. You're going to get a worthwhile experience. Hey in the back, try to be quiet. Hey. Just join us. There should be some snacks outside. Help yourself. Thank you for coming. Okay. And then did everybody get a card? Everybody got a cute card. And guys, before we begin, huge round of applause for Janet and Jennifer. Thank you, Janet. Oh, you're Rachel. Oh, girl, I didn't know y'all knew each other.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Like, that's Rachel.
Girl, I just thought you knew her name.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, how she know that girl?
Girl.
Rachel, oh my God, I'm so sorry, girl. Thank you, girl.
I have different hair.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But they have helped me so much. They help put everything together. This is their nonprofit, Beauty and Brains, bbgirl.org. They're doing everything for Black women in Chicago. They do so many things to uplift the community. All women,
Yes.
all women. Doing everything to uplift the community. So I really appreciate them coming in. They were like, girl, you want to do an event? I got you. Let's go. And they're both Libra risings. I'm Libra rising.
Yes.
So we all came into the pink. We put everything pink. Like, this is a Venusian themed event.
Yes.
Okay? Did the light go out? It was charged. Yeah, it was always something. Well, sorry guys, the light went out. Oh, there it is. But these are so cute. Aren't these just absolutely adorable? Absolutely love these. How many of you are cult members? If that's not who I think it is, just flew in on a plane. Oh my God! You're still coming.
Yeah, I came early, but
Oh my God, Justice. You guys, Justice is one of my beautiful Leo Aqua cult members. She was at the LA Mansion event. And she messaged me and she said, oh, I'm hopping on the plane. But then I didn't know you were still coming. She just came from LA. Oh my God, Justice. Let me show you to the live, girl. Y'all, this is Justice, just came in. So cute. That is crazy. And it fashionably lay. Ooh, right out of my playbook. I love it. Okay. Let's get to it.
3, 3, 3.
here we go.
So like I said, I am Miss Jade Sykes, Leo Sun, Leo Moon. I love being a Leo. Leos can't help but love being Leos because we are extremely self-centered. It's the only way we know how to be. Just like the sun, the center of your galaxy, we're the center of our galaxy. Thank you for coming. Okay, what is astrology? Astrology is an ancient tool for timing, identity, and meaning. Astrology does not equal predictions. Now, you can make a prediction, but that's not exactly what astrology is. Astrology is pattern literacy. The more you are able to see a pattern, the better you're able to predict what will happen next. But it's not because, oh, this is just going to happen just because. What is the pattern? What is the sequence of events? What's the chain of events that's repeating and repeating and repeating that is most likely to happen next? Okay? You guys, astrology changed my life. It changed my life. So for those of you that don't know this story, what happened was in 2017, I really liked this guy. He was so fine too. Fine, Okay, he was so fine. So I was like, I just had this idea that I had back in high school. So in high school, I liked a guy, and I was looking up. I put in Leo woman, Gemini man. I didn't know anything about astrology. All I knew was like signs. So I googled that, and then years later did the same thing with this guy. But this time I found Cafe Astrology. Who knows Cafe Astrology? Okay. OG astrology website. OG. You know, people used to shit on it. They used to be like,
I sent everybody there for the basics.
what?
Go here first.
Okay, the
Go here
basics.
first.
Yes, like that website is almost as old as I am. It's from like 2001. Like I was born in 97, so I don't know. Okay, whatever. It was the young girls. But anyway, so I went down the Cafe Astrology rabbit hole. I put my information in, and it was like, you went to private school and your dad has a good job and you and your mama don't really get along. I was like, excuse me? Like, how? How do you know that? And it was really scary. Come to find out years later, I have fear motivation in human design. So I was very terrified to learn more. And then I'm from Memphis, the Bible Belt. So my family is very Christian. So my mom was like, girl, you better get about that. The devil gonna get you. And I was like, girl, I don't want to go to hell. So that's what they all say. So I was scared. I was very scared. But I just kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And my life got better and better and better because I loved it. I love it more than anything. I eat, sleep, breathe it. And here I am today. So I'm so glad you all could be here. Hold on. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I'm thinking of a name. I got it. Jayana. Where's Jayana?
Right here.
Jayana's been here since 2018. That's when I started. Anybody else? Anybody else from the 2018 crew? Period. Yes. Thank you guys. That was the OG days. It was summer 2018. That's when I started. There was an account. She had 50,000 followers, which was a lot at the time. And she retweeted every single one of my tweets from a pregnancy astrology thread. And that just blew it up. And it's just been clients and people every day since. So I just really appreciated that. She really changed my life. She's not even on Twitter anymore. It's crazy. So let's see. Oh, and then by the way, you guys know this is a cult, right? This is a cult. If you're here, you're now in the cult. Even if you are an unofficial member, you are now in the cult. Why do I call it a cult? Because that's what it is. A cult is a group of people who share an intense, like-minded ideology, really willing to die behind it, really willing to put their all behind it, which you do. When I give advice and you guys take it and apply it to your real world lives, that could make or break you. Because if I tell you something foul or fucked up and it fucks up your life, who are you going to blame? But if I tell you something amazing and it changes everything for you, who are you going to give credit to? Okay, thanks. That's what I try to do. This really is a cult. I'm a cult leader. I love it. I think we're doing good shit. Yeah. I got
initiation.
It's good. Okay. Initiation. This is initiation. I got a friend. She's like, if I didn't know you personally and I didn't know what you were doing with this cult thing, I would be scared. So that's homework. But since I know what you're doing, I'm like, okay. So she doesn't have any qualms. So yes. So back to the astrology. Next slide. Everything is astro. Everything is astro. Who knows what I mean by that? Anybody just speak?
There's a chart for everything.
It's a chart for everything. Exactly. There's astrology for everything. There's an astrology for when this tablecloth was made at the factory. There's an astrology. I don't even know how she got through. I don't know how that happened. But okay. So, gravity example. So, we all agree that gravity exists, right? Okay, we all agree that we're being held to this earth and there's this invisible force that's keeping us on the ground. And we all agree that there's air in this room, oxygen, that we can't see this invisible thing that we're smelling in our nostrils and putting in our lungs, right? Okay, we agree. So by that same logic, then we can also agree that there are millions, possibly billions, possibly trillions of other unseen forces having God knows what kind of effects on our lives. We don't know. Gravity, air, we can't see it, but we agree on it. You can see it at the molecular level. How much more is there? We don't know. But astrology is certainly one of these things. It has to be. Because you know, like I know, that when you're born and you look at somebody's birth chart, the way everything just turns out like clockwork, like, oh, you're a Leo, okay, you love to shine, you're great in front of the camera. Oh, you're a Libra, okay, you probably love pink, you like good looks, okay, so on and so forth. All the time, constantly. Human design, okay, you're a projector, you got invited into this, okay, great, use your authority, great, 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 great. All these unseen forces moving through our body, moving through our brains, and causing things to happen, interacting with us daily. So everything is astral. There's an astrology for everything. And like somebody said, there's a chart for everything, including business, whole entire countries. The United States, for example. So the United States was born on July 4th, 1770. Whatever, I don't even give a fuck.
I
don't. Because I'm going to move anyway. Y'all staying with Trump? No. No, okay. Okay, now I got silent. Where we going? Japan? Japan, fall 2025, okay? But anyway, so the USA is a Sagittarius rising, Cancer sun in the 8th house. And the USA also has a Pluto in the 2nd house, right? So the United States is actually having its Pluto return right now. As human beings, we will never have a Pluto return. We will never see it. We will be long gone before it can happen because it takes Pluto 250 years roughly to orbit around the sun, right? But this country is about to have its first Pluto return. This is something that no human in history has ever seen because before we had our current tribal systems and democracies, there were no long-standing governments such as what we have now. I mean, in the distant past, but not in modern times, right? Okay, so Pluto return in the 2nd house for the United States of America. What do you guys think that means? Anybody know?
Transformation.
Yeah.
Eric?
Invent the currency, maybe?
Yeah.
Upheaval of the currency system.
Okay, economic destruction.
Yeah.
Economic destruction, which we will talk about at the end of the class. Economic destruction. And this is what I mean about everything has an astrology. If the United States, now right now, we do have Pluto in the 2nd house. We were born with this as a country. And our dollar has reigned supreme as one of the top leading dollars. Our economy is the top economy in the world. Everybody knows the U.S. lives and breathes capitalism. We live and breathe cash. And it's Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign of capitalism, commerce, for those of you that didn't know. So if Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth, and this country is about to have its Pluto return, what does that mean? We're going to have to go through the death and rebirth process. If we're currently the strong dollar and we're the strong nation with all this capital and Pluto's on our shit in our 2nd house, it has to burn in Aquarius. Well, first it hit Capricorn and now it's in Aquarius, and it'll transit through Aquarius the rest of the house. So it's gonna death and rebirth. So what is that going to look like? It's going to look like something because we're talking about a whole country here. So everything is astrology, including business. Most of you might not know this, but I actually do have a business chart for my Patreon. So back in 2019, I had just lost my grandmother. Somebody had invited me to start my Patreon. Ooh, I'm stuck. That would be embarrassing. So I had just lost my grandmother, rest her soul, miss Granny very much. And somebody invited me to start a Patreon. And I had heard about it because YouTubers used to use it back then a lot. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll check it out. And so I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then I was like, okay, I want to do a chart. I want to do an event chart for it. I want to use a chart that's going to complement my own birth chart for this Patreon. So I didn't know it at the time, but I called up my friend at the time, who she ended up becoming my girlfriend. And I didn't know it, but she was a projector. So I didn't even realize that me as a generator was calling her, looking for her guidance on how to do this chart. And as you know, whenever you call up a projector for their guidance, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the best thing you ever did because you recognized and invited them. So she helped me do the chart. We set the chart up, and then it was so successful, and it really changed my life. And I'm forever grateful to astrology, and I'm forever grateful to her for that. Okay, stock markets. Eric, this is your time.
Yeah.
So Eric knows all about stock markets and astrology. It's not something I've personally mastered, but he was telling me the other day, he was like, oh yeah, I know all types of people who've done all types of things using astrology to trade the market and do it accurately each and every time. And I'm just like, that is just so incredible. So many people have mastered it. It's a skill you can master. If you're interested in stock market stuff, trading, and you also love astrology, there are plenty of people who've been successful with timing their charts and their trades with the astrology. So if you want to learn it, it is a very viable and fun skill that you can learn. world understanding. Everything is astro. So for example, right? So I need you to understand something. When we're talking about astrology, let me skip ahead a little bit so we can get a little visual going here. Start right there. So when we're talking about the signs, right? All the signs are connected to one another. Like how we have the fire signs, they all trine. Or all the cardinal signs, they all square, right? Or we have the signs that are oppositions, also known as sister signs. Everything is connected. Everything in the world not only has a chart, but it has an astrological representation. Who knows what sign rules over chairs? Just say it out loud. Taurus? Yep, it's Taurus, exactly. Very simple, comfort, a chair. It's Taurus. Who knows what sign rules over beds? Pisces.
Oh, Pisces.
It's Pisces. Because when you sleep, you are in the dark. You're hidden. You don't know what's going on. Dream state, the bed. Yes, right? What rules over fame? Leo. What rules over your mother? Cancer. Everything has an astrological representation. Everything. The walls, colors. So everything is astrology. So the Taurus Scorpio example I wanted to give you. So you can really understand life just by understanding how signs connect. This is how I understand life, okay? So let's say we're talking about money, okay? Okay, money, I wanna make some money. What do I do? What do I think? If I think about the sign of Taurus, which represents money, okay, I know that Taurus is money. It also rules over natural resources. It rules over natural talents, okay? And it's opposite from Scorpio. Scorpio is its sister sign. So there's a direct connection between things that Scorpio represents and things that Taurus represents. What is the connection? How do I bridge that gap? Okay, we know that Scorpio is death, rebirth, transformation, survival. And like I said, Taurus is natural resources, natural talents. So what this tells me is that since everybody is born with Taurus somewhere in their chart, and everybody is born with Scorpio somewhere in their chart, this means that everybody has some sort of natural resource, some sort of natural talent, something that they came into this earth with that directly contributes to their survival, to their ability to transform, to take care of themselves. And it goes back and forth, all day and all night. This is how I understand the world. And I think that if you use this formula to understand the world around you as well, it can only serve you. It'll only be there to help you. Okay, going back. Okay, signs. Signs represent archetypes. Archetypes are like characters or roles that show up over and over again in life, stories, and people. Signs are themes. Signs are the themes, right? So when we're talking about a chart, when we're looking at the sign, that is the theme, right? Who can describe what a theme is?
Death and rebirth. Right?
Not exactly. Go ahead.
I'm trying to find my word.
Go ahead, take your time.
A theme is kind of like the overarching story. It's like the meaning within, or what they're trying to get you to like feel or understand.
The narrative.
Yes.
Yes, the narrative, the vibe. The theme is the vibe,
Yes.
right? That's the theme. So signs are always going to be themes. So when you're looking at your birth chart or your children's or somebody else's and you see that sign, you know, okay, this is the theme. This is the narrative that's showing up over and over and over again. Let's use the sign of Gemini. For example, the themes of Gemini: reading, writing, communication, short travel, siblings, your ears, your eyes. Gemini represents the twins. You have 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 hands. All the doubles on your body are Gemini. Gemini represents your lungs. It represents breathing. It represents trickery, mischievousness, right? So those are the themes. And so a lot of times when you're learning astrology in a community of people, back in the day, at least this was my experience, it used to be like, sometimes people say like, oh, well, maybe this is Gemini, but it's also Leo too. That's not how it works. Gemini represents writing. Leo does not. Does that mean Leos don't write? No, Leos do write. But it'll come from that Geminian mercurial area in their chart. So sometimes, like I might make a tweet, I might say, oh man, those Scorpios are so obsessive. And they are. And they are. Who's a Scorpio? Get out.
Right now. I'm a rising, so.
Wait, who's a Scorpio again? I'll see you after class. Okay, period. Okay, so Scorpios are obsessive. Does that mean other signs are not? No, other signs are obsessive. But where is that coming from? The Scorpio, Pluto, 8th house part of their chart. It's not coming from the Leo part. It's not coming from the Sagittarius part, because that's not the thing. That's not what that represents. So don't be saying that. People be like, well, I said something the other day and somebody was like, yeah, Gemini's too. And I was like, please, child. Make it my dog hard.
You're not getting it.
Okay? Okay, planets. Planets are the characters. Mom, dad, you, your friend. Planets have the final say-so. Why do planets have the final say-so? Because they are heavenly bodies, real physical balls of rock and matter that are affecting us here on Earth. So we all agree that the reason why the ocean ebbs and flows and moves and winds is because of the moon, right? The moon's gravitational pull. So if the moon is able to pull our ocean, and if the sun, being so far away, is able to burn our skin and cause blindness if we look at it for too long, what sense does it make? It wouldn't make any sense that these other planets are not also having an effect. They are having an effect. They have the final say-so. So this is why in astrology we talk about rulership. We talk about Mars rules over Aries, Venus rules over Taurus, because these planets, these are the giant celestial beings in the sky, and they do have the final say-so. And they're like the characters. Let me go back on that just a little bit. Planets are like the characters. So if you're talking about the moon, even in horary astrology, who knows what horary astrology is? Who doesn't know what that is? Where were y'all in 2018? 2019? Y'all missed my horary era? Wow, that was an era bygone. So I used to, is that like an old folks term, bygone?
Yes.
Virgo placements can be old ladies, I admit. My cane is upstairs. But anyway, so back in the day, I used to do what's called horary astrology. This is when you ask a question, you go to your astrology chart, and you don't just sit there and think about, oh, I'm going to ask a horary this and do it. No, when the question comes up naturally, you look at the time, look at the location, look at the date, then you put it into an astrology chart. If you can't get to it immediately, just jot it down somewhere. And whatever that chart is for your question, see, even questions have astrology. And then you can use the chart for your question to find the answer. So how I said planets are characters, in a horary chart, the moon is going to be the general thing of what you're asking about. If you're asking about your friend, okay, the moon is most likely going to be the friend, right? If you're looking for your lost purse, moon would be the purse in that case. Planets represent characters. And then you know in your own charts, the sun represents your father. Saturn is also another representation of your father. Venus and moon are representations of the mother, especially if you have the sun above the horizon, which means in the 7th through 12th house. I believe that it is Venus that acts as a secondary representation of the mother. And then when the sun is below the horizon, which is houses 1 through 7, as the moon is going to be your primary representation of the mother. And I'm pretty sure that's correct, but I might need to double check just to be sure, because that's a part of traditional astrology. Okay, houses. Houses are the areas of life. Imagine each house like a room. Each room shows a different part of your life. The planets are like guests or characters walking through those rooms, and the signs are the vibe or aesthetic of each room. So imagine Mars, the character, right? Planet, action, Mars represents action, going through your 7th house room, which is the relationship room. Here's the 7th house, 1 through 12. And let's say you have Mars and Scorpio in the 7th house. That's the theme. Remember, signs are themes, the archetypes, intense, mysterious, candlelit energy. And then that's the story that'll play out in your relationships. Mars would be the different characters. So if you have Mars in the 7th house, you have Martian type characters that come through your life in a 7th house way. They enter your life through the lens of relationship, this area of your life. Martian people, people who are physically active, people who may be prone to anger, people who are pioneers, people who are very driven, right? And then they're coming in through your relationships, and because Scorpio is the theme, it means that your engagement with these people is always through this Scorpion theme. It'll be through this theme. Intense, mysterious, trust, betrayal, all of those things. And that's how the story will play out. So as you can see, we've got 1 through 12 houses. Very pretty, very cool. Something to note about the 12th house. The 12th house is the house of things that are hidden. Your blind spot, what you cannot see. Why is that? The first house. The first house is what's right in front of you. Recall that the sign of Aries is also the first sign, right? There's a reason for that. Aries is about charging forth, going ahead, pioneering, what's right in front of you, right? And so if we were to take it back all 12 houses, where do we end up? You end up right behind your head. The 12th house is behind your eyes. If the first house is how you approach life, if this is your first approach to things, your rising sign, and the 12th house is behind you, it's what you can't see. And you can see it literally here in the drawing because we're going this way. So you can see that the 12 is behind the 1. So this is why the 12th house is your house of things that are hidden. It's your blind spot, right? So one thing you can do, who here uses Jade AI? I know that's right. She was quick with that one.
I'm
Period.
using her.
Yeah.
I got a quick question there about on the full moon.
Okay, I did a full moon interp too. It was good. I was
Yeah,
like,
mine was
okay,
good.
girl.
It did a little.
You know, when I'm talking to it, I'm like, okay, be practical, be scientifical. Don't give me no woo woo wah wah. Just like, okay, Jade, I got you. And I'm like, and it was good. Saturn return. You did Saturn return reading?
Saturn and Aries.
Oh, you're Saturn Aries? Oh, yeah. Wait, you're Saturn Aries? Hey. You said, oh, hey. It's our Saturn return. It's our little preview because it really doesn't start till next year. It'll be in Pisces for most of the year. Yep. So I was going to say, what was I going to say? Losing my train of thought, child. It was something about houses, 12th house. Oh, yeah, I know what I was going to say. I was going to say, if you have a 12th house placement or if you need some help interpreting it, what you can say is, hey, chat, knowing that, or Jade AI, knowing that the 12th house is my blind spot. It's the things I cannot see. I have XYZ sign in the 12th house with this planet. If you don't have a planet there, then you just don't mention it. I want to know, give me your best analysis for what this sign represents, the things of this sign, and what are my blind spots that I should look out for. Boom, there you go. There's your blind spots. And just like that, your life is better because now you know in seconds. That's crazy. That's actually incredible to me that we can do these things, we can know this information, have it at our fingertips, and have constant improvement so fast. And I think this is going to be necessary for the next 20 years and even beyond, but especially these next 20 years with Pluto and Aquarius, because Aquarius is the sign of individuality, being the individual. Pluto is the planet of survival. It's the planet of transformation. So your transformation, your survival these next 20 years is especially dependent on you being able to be the deepest version of individual you can be, because Pluto is the planet of depth. Aquarius is the sign of individuality. So the deeper you go into your individuality, the better it gets for you. And we've got these tools to help us do it. Okay, so any questions about signs, planets, or houses before I move on? Yes.
I have a question. Just thinking of like tropical astrology versus like, I don't know why I'm blanking on the term, but you know the other type of
Traditional.
Vedic,
Okay.
yes, I'm thinking of Vedic. So you know how the houses are like shifted a little bit.
Yes.
So if in Vedic my rising is Virgo, but in tropical my rising is Libra.
You sidereal?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same, yeah, same difference. So what would be like my blind spots? Like, cause I do relate to my, you know, my Vedic with Virgo rising sometimes, but they're different. Like they tell different stories. So I always think like tropical is more of like describing like my personality and who I am, and Vedic is more about like my life and the seasons of my life. But how would you look at it or interpret it?
I have never been able to find the actual difference between tropical and Vedic astrology. I've never been able to find like the real, concrete, definitive difference. And you notice you never really see anybody say it, right? However, the way that the ancient Indian astrologers would do it and interpret through Vedic, it was incredible. When I first started learning, I learned through those websites. I would be on those websites. It would be like Back-2-Basics, and I'd be like, oh, I'd be on there.
So
Good
listen, I
shit.
got introduced to it. So then,
Oh wow, you in India?
yeah, I lived in India for a
What?
summer.
You
And-
travel?
Yeah, so then, but then I came back and got deeper into it, and it was like,
That's
oh,
amazing.
so I studied both, and they both tell different stories, but it's like now I'm thinking about this blind spot analogy, and it's like,
I would just do it the same way because I have never heard in my studies, I haven't heard anybody ever say that in Vedic, the 12th house means something different than it does in tropical. Still 12. You know what I mean? I haven't heard that. Yes.
My question is, do you use Placidus or the regular?
Yes. Placidus, tropical, yes. Yeah, I use all actually. Honestly, if there's a Vedic interpretation that I remember and I can recall it, I'm gonna tell it to you because it's good information, right? And like looking right here at this person, let's see, 1, 2. Scorpio, their 10th house is in Sagittarius, right? But in whole signs, their 10th house is in Scorpio. I would also take that into account.
Right.
I might as well do both. I've always done both. You know, I'm a Libra, so I'll take it all. Was there, you had a question?
I was going to point out that in Vedic, comparison to Vedic and tropical astrology, the analogy that I've heard is that Vedic astrology is the life you live, and tropical astrology is how you respond to it. So that's how you can combine both of those placements.
That's very interesting. In my Vedic, I am a Cancer sun, and I can definitely relate to that. But more than anything, I am a Libra. It is true. Okay, any last questions? Okay. So this is the chart of a celebrity child. And I was just doing a little bit of research the other day, and I came across this chart. And so this celebrity child did have her chart read when she was born. And I just wanted to point out to you guys how to really, really interpret charts. When you break down the sign, which is the theme, and you break down those planets, which are the characters, and then those houses, which are the areas of life, you can get some really good interpretations. So the child had her chart read, and the interpretation was, she'll move away from home one day and go to college. Kind of think a lot of people do that. And then the other one was, her house will be full of books. Okay, I do see a strong Sagittarian influence. I could see that, okay. But that's not what I would want a new mother to pay me to tell them. If a new mother came to me for this child, what I would have said was, when your family goes on vacations, 9th house, Jupiter, there's a double influence here. We know that Jupiter, the 9th house, and Sagittarius are all synonymous with each other, right? So Jupiter in the 9th house, Jupiter loves being in the 9th house. So this child definitely will travel. Jupiter is also at the 21st degree. Who here knows about degree theory? Okay, very good. Degree theory was created, or better yet, interpreted by Nicholas Stojanovic. He was a Serbian astrologer. And to crack it all the way down, basically each number represents a different sign. You start at 1 with Aries, 2 is Taurus, so on and so forth. You end up back at 13, Aries, and then it ends at 29, Leo. Count it on your fingers. So 21st degree, Sagittarius degree, Jupiter in the 9th, triple Sagittarian influence, super Jupiterian influence. So yes, this child will travel. We know that. She probably will want to go to college or get some type of philosophical study, okay? But that's not specific to her though. What's more specific that could actually help this new mom out? So this study, this travel, right? What's the theme here? It's Scorpio.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a Scorpion influence on the way this child will travel and study, right? And if we know that Scorpio represents psychology, transformation, we can see that she'll travel. What do I tell this new mother? I'll tell her, hey, when your family goes on trips, because obviously, like I said, she's a celebrity child. There's going to be trips, okay? So if she goes on the trips, I'll tell this new mother, watch her, because something about these trips is going to be very transformative in nature for her specifically. Scorpio is the sign of psychology. You know, Criminal Minds, CSI Miami, all that forensic psychological things, that's all Scorpio. And you know that your psychology is what shapes your behavior. So I would be telling this new mom, something about your child's psychology is susceptible to change when you guys are traveling. This is what you want to watch, because depending on the quality of the trip through her eyes will tell us how her psychology will develop. Because it could go negatively. Jupiter can overdo it. Jupiter can be evil too. Any sign, any planet can have that shadow negative side. So I would tell this mom, you need to be looking at the way her behavior changes or develops on these trips, because her psychology is being directly affected when she is traveling. You see, we can go deeper, and it's just by knowing the theme, the character, and the area of life. It's that simple. Very, very simple. Let me do another example. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, 6 degrees, moon in Pisces in the first house. So, you were thinking
I was at first, moon in the first house, Pisces, I'm like, yeah.
okay, Pisces moon in the first, and it's at the 6th degree. So for those of you that don't know, the 6th degree is a Virgo degree. So there's Virgo energy attached to this moon, just a little teeny tiny bit, right? And then you got the moon, which is the mother, the family, that's the characters at play here, and it's in the first house. So the area of life is the self, the way she's gonna be approaching life. So whenever it's time for her to approach life, to go forward on something, to do something new or something that she's never done before, or just her basic general approach to things, there is something about the criticism, 6th degree, Virgo represents criticisms, that her mother and family gives her, that will either cloud or support her abstract approach to life. That's what I would tell this mom. The devil is in the details for your child. Mom, here's the devil in the details, 6th degree, Virgo represents details. Here's the mother, the devil is in the details. She will be confused, Pisces, in her approach to life, depending on the quality of criticism and advice given. So I would tell that mom, be careful of what kind of advice you're giving your child, because depending on what it is, can greatly confuse her approach. And it's right here very closely, not that close, but it is close to Neptune, right? Forming a conjunction there, a very loose conjunction. So double emphasis, Neptune rules over Pisces, so there's a double emphasis on this confusion, waddling aspect. But then the other side of that is, let's say the quality of the advice, the criticism, the assistance, Virgo is also assistance, that is given, can actually open up very abstract doors. Pisces, Neptune is all about the abstract, the things that do not have boundaries or set ways. You can't fit, like kind of like how water, water doesn't have a shape. It's the exact same thing. I would tell the mom that. Anybody else want to try? No? Wow, okay. Y'all just want me to do it. Okay, so this is also somebody else's chart. Y'all know whose chart this is?
What celebrity chart was that?
I don't want to tell you because I don't want to be disrespectful to the astrologer who read the chart. Yeah. But ask me after. Okay, you know whose chart this is?
Yours.
Well, yours?
Yes. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. You're supposed to have this memorized. Okay, so this is moi. This is me. Leo sun, Leo moon, Libra rising. Guys, my Mars is fucked up. I have a very fucked up Mars. Check this out. First of all, it's in the 12th house. Mars doesn't like being in the 12th house. Second of all, it's fallen in Libra. It's a detriment in Libra. Mars hates being in Libra.
Stop talking about our Mars like that.
Well, this is my Mars. This is my Mars. It don't like that. It don't like that, okay? All the Libra Mars know the struggle.
It's in the 12th house too.
I know, and then look, it's
like that.
at the 24th degree, Pisces degree, extra 12th house. Fuck. Then it's making an opposition to Saturn. Ouch. And then my Saturn is falling in Aries. Ouch. So my Libra is all types of fucked up. It's very, very crazy. 12th house is dreams. Mars is violence, action, guns. I always have violent dreams. Sometimes I wake up, I'll dream about shootings and chaos and violence. I'm like, during the day, I'm pink and I'm cute and I'm nice. But when I fall asleep, I see guns and war. Yeah. It's really insane, actually. Anybody else with a 12th house Mars? Have you ever woken up with scratches, battle marks? You don't know how they got there.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
2 weeks ago? Yeah, it happened.
Wow.
In college, I woke up one day, I was totally scratched. Mind you, I was a nail biter in college. But I was. So there was no way I could have scratched myself. My nails were way too short. And then my roommate, she couldn't have done it, or would she? She was a Scorpio. See? But her nails were short at the time, and I'm pretty sure I would have woken up, but there were scratches everywhere. It was really insane. It's highly disturbing. But anyway. So 11th house Venus in Virgo. So 11th house represents the internet. This is the area of life where I spend my time online, where I connect with communities, groups. For example, Virgo represents assistants or co-workers. Virgo is also a sign of co-workers. And then Venus is relationships. And remember, I told you when I was starting my Patreon, I was friends with a girl on Twitter. I hit her up for her assistance with doing the Patreon chart. And then later on the next year, we ended up getting into a relationship. So you can see right there how one of my most significant relationships would form, right? Let's look at another one.
Sorry.
Not my ghost.
That's some dreams.
Who said that? You're crazy. Okay, So here's another one. Make sure the YouTube people can still see. Okay, so let me show you how I am a co-leader, right? So we've got the 10th house. 10th house is the highest point in the charts, the highest part of the chart. MC is the highest point, right? So whenever you have 10th house, you have somebody that knows how to be a manager, that knows how to lead, that knows how to handle things in a very Capricornian fashion. I've got my sun here. So just like how the sun is the center of our galaxy, the sun is the center for your chart, it's the center of your life. This is the focal point of your chart. This is the center for everything. It even has a little dot inside of it to tell you, this is the center, this is the bullseye. So for me, things are concentrated, my identity, the focal point of my life has concentrated into my career, into my public standing, my public reputation. I almost said representation. Reputation. My public reputation and my ability to manage effectively, right? Okay, so it's in the sign of Leo. Leo is all about being yourself, being very loud, very flamboyant. That is me, right? And then down here, my Leo sun and my Leo moon, both in the 10th house, both representing these things. And with the moon, my inner life is also on display in the same way, right? And then they're both touching these two Aquarius placements. So Leo is the star, Aquarius is the audience. Leo is the general interest, Aquarius is the community that surrounds that interest, right? It goes back and forth, back and forth. And so we know that Aquarius is also the sign of groups. It's the sign of community. And what's a form of group? A cult. It's a group. It's a type of community. Cults are represented by Aquarius. Aquarius is also the sign of cold-heartedness, a detachment, right? It's co-ruled by Saturn. Saturn is a very cold planet physically, right? So, as we can see here, Sun and Moon in leadership position. Sun happy in Leo at the top of the chart in the 10th house. Coming down here with boom, 4th house Aquarius. 4th house is about family. Aquarius is about the odd one out. It's about being different, taking the unconventional path. Unconventional family. It's at the 1st degree. That's an Aries degree. That's pioneering. That's being the start of something. Creating my own cult family. Leading my own cult family. So this is how I was born to be. This is what's manifesting in my 2019. People used to say, that girl has a cult. She has a cult. And they meant it to be mean to me and try to bring me down. And at the time, I was being Miss Libra Mars. Yep, I was being Miss Libra. And I was like, why stop being mean to me? I was like, I'm just so nice. Like, why is everybody so mean to me? Like, I don't understand. You know, I was like that. And I didn't get it. But see, now I understand a lot more about the world. I understand way more about Scorpio and the nature of Scorpio and Pluto than I do any other sign. And one of the things that I understand about it is how to use it, basically. How to use hate, how to use death, how to use change, how to use survival, and how to use those things to my benefit. So one thing I didn't know back then, I didn't realize that people hating on you, when people hate on you and they're pointing out something about you that's like it's supposed to be bad, but they're just hating, what they're actually pointing out to you is your deepest resource. They're pointing out something really, really valuable that you can't even see. Remember how I told you, everything is astrology, right? Scorpio, opposite Taurus. Taurus is your natural resources, your natural talents. Taurus is. And then Scorpio is how you use those to transform, evolve, and survive. So Scorpio is also about what's deep. It's about depth. It's about going all the way underneath. And so if Scorpio is about going all the way underneath, and its sister, Taurus, is your natural talents. That means that all of us, not only do we have these natural talents, we also have parts of ourselves that are so valuable. Because remember, Taurus' second house also represents value. We have something in us that's so valuable, so absolutely incredible and of use to us, but you have to go deep for it. You have to dig for it. You have to reach into your depths. And so when people are hating on you, because hate, negativity, also ruled by Scorpio, when people are hating on you, they're trying to hurt you deep. They're trying to reach deep to make you feel a way, to cause pain. Scorpio's a sign of pain. But little do they know, Scorpio is also about exposure, exposing things, bringing things to the surface, things that are not obviously apparent to the naked eye, right? Like I said earlier, private eyes, forensic investigators, those are Scorpion, Plutonian type people because they're getting to the bottom, they're bringing up things from the bottom to the surface. So when somebody's hating on you and whatever they mention, I guarantee you, they literally mention some great resource. They're mentioning something that you can make use of, because your hater's not going to hate if there's nothing valuable to hate on. They're only going to actually hate on the valuable thing. So they used to say, this is a cult, she's a cult leader. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? That's fucking weird. But then years later, it's like, oh, you're right, I am a cult leader. This is a cult. And so I just started going ham on that shit. And it's fucking fun, and it works, and I thank them for their service. Okay? Yes.
I also like to say I have a lot of Scorpio energy. I always say it's like the alchemist, like how you can alchemize and transmute things. So it's like that pain to purpose type of thing is very Scorpio. So.
Yes, extremely pain to power. Yes.
I'll also add, as someone who was 12th house and 8th house heavy, pay attention to what those hidden enemies were targeting when they were targeting you behind your back.
Ooh.
Because that goes back to what Jade is saying about that's where your value is going to be. Whenever they were after, whether even if you got snaked, it happens, pay attention to what they snaked you over.
Ooh, that is so deep. That is so deep. For anybody on the live stream that didn't hear that, she said to pay attention to what those hidden enemies, what those enemies were targeting you over. Pay attention to what people tried to snake you over, because that's also going to be one of your value points. Love that. You're absolutely right. Okay. Human design. So, who knows what human design is? Who does not know their human design? Okay, that's all right. You're the right motherfucking You are the right motherfucking place, okay? So, human design. All that astrology we talked about, right? All of this, let me go back real quick. All of this, the only way I'm going to get the best of this chart, the best of my chart, is through my human design. Why? Why is this the answer? Why is this the key to bringing out the best of my astrology, the best of my life? Because see, when you look at your astrology, right? Go back for a second. You look at your astrology, and the astrologer can tell you all the different possibilities with your chart, but they cannot guarantee exactly how it'll go, right? They cannot guarantee that you will get what's promised to you. Why not? Because you have a unique way. However your planets are lined up, because human design is also based on astrology, you get your human design type based on where the planets were when you were born. It's the exact same concept, right? So depending on whatever your configuration is, that will show you how you are meant to interact with the world around. Excuse me. And if you're interacting with the world around you in a way that is not natural, you will get resistance. You won't get all this cute Leo sun in the 10th house, woo, get to be a mini celebrity. Nope, you don't get to have none of that if you're not behaving as yourself, the deepest parts of yourself, right? So, going back to it, the answer to everything, in my opinion, your best cheat code to life brings the brings the most out of your astrology. So remember I told you that story, 2017, I was learning about astro, I liked the guy, blah, blah, blah. I went down the cafe astrology rabbit hole. 2018, I made the pregnancy thread, blah, blah, blah. I was having a good time. Okay, woo. What I didn't know then was that I was following my human design to a T. I was being myself to a T. Now you might think, well, isn't everybody being themselves all the time? No. Why not? Who knows why? Somebody's almost there. I hear it. C word. Conditioning. Yes. Everybody gets conditioned. It's not a bad thing to be conditioned. We all get conditioned. I am conditioning you right now. I'm doing it right now. Everybody gets conditioned. But it is when we get conditioned away from being ourselves that the problems start to happen, right? So going back to the story, I had been working at Dillard's. I was living in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I was working at Dillard's, doing my thing. And then me and the boyfriend got into it, and I was like, you gotta get out. He left, I left, packed up all my stuff, went to go stay at my mom's house. And then I was there for like a week, and I was like, I can't stay at my mom's house. And I was like, I gotta get back home. But I didn't know what I was gonna do because I was so emotional. See, I didn't know I had emotional authority at the time. So I was very emotional. I was like, you know what? I'll just let my apartment go. I'll let them evict me, and they can take all my stuff. I just didn't care. But that was just emotions talking. I didn't realize that I was riding a wave. So when that wave became neutrality, and when that wave finally cleared, I was like, okay, I have clarity now. If you have emotional authority, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to teach you. So when that clarity finally came, I'm like, okay, girl, I don't want to lose my apartment and my furniture, but I need to make some money. What am I going to do? And I knew I couldn't go back to Dillard's. I do love fashion, makeup, all the girly things, and I didn't mind Dillard's, but I didn't want to have to stand up all day. I didn't want to have to stand up all day. It was just too much for me, and I mean, honestly, look, check it out. The ruler of my 6th, the 6th house is your work. The ruler of my 6th is Mars. It's in the 12th, and it's at the 24th degree, Pisces degree, 12th house degree. It's all synonymous, right? I need to be able to work passively. I need to be able to be passive. I need to be able to take my time, and then look, boom, Uranus at the 6th degree in Aries. So Uranus in Aries, very strong. I'm sorry, Aquarius. Uranus is in Aquarius. So Uranus in Aquarius, very strong in Aquarius because Uranus rules over Aquarius. So there's a huge emphasis on me having lots of freedom in my life. Jupiter is also in Aquarius. But you'll see here my Uranus is at the 6th degree. 6th degree is a Virgo degree, represents work, synonymous with the 6th house, work. So there's an emphasis on passivity and freedom. And then if you look over here, Mercury rules over Virgo, and it's Mercury in Virgo. So this also represents my work life, right? And it's in the 11th house. 11th house is synonymous with Uranus. It's the area of life where freedom is required, right? So there's double emphasis here, huge emphasis on me needing that freedom and passivity in my life. And so once I left the job, I realized that, and I wasn't willing to compromise. But I was on Indeed, I was looking, nothing was coming up, the rent was coming up, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Worst case scenario, I ask somebody and maybe they say no, who knows what was gonna happen, okay? So in the meantime, so at the time, going back to the human design, right? So at the time, I didn't know it. I didn't know I was a generator. I didn't know that I was born to have fun, that I was supposed to enjoy the work I do. I was supposed to enjoy the activities I do. I didn't have any idea about that. All I knew was that I loved astrology, and I would much rather spend all day doing astrology than doing this work. Now, mind you, at this time, I didn't even know what an astrologer was. I didn't know that existed. I didn't know people made money or made a living from astrology. That I didn't know. I was only like, I couldn't even drink yet. I was 20 years old, couldn't even drink yet. I was really young. So anyway, in the meantime, oh, and you know what? When I worked at Dillard's and when I worked at Maurice's, every day after work, I would go home, get in the bed, get on my phone, put it right up in my face, and just scroll astrology all day. So who was studying astrology prior to 2020? Okay, perfect. So you guys know how great we used to have it, right? We used to have good websites. Remember Astro Codex? RIP Astro Codex. That was one of them ones. I really hate that shit as an archive. Astro Codex, the Tumblr blogs. I learned from, yes, okay, Tumblr blogs. Who else was there? What was some other websites? Oh, there was this one. My Christian astrologer, my psychic astrologer, she had good stuff. Those old internet forums on websites, I can't even tell you what their name was, but just old internet forums. I used to have a ball. That's how I used to learn, right? You can't even do that anymore. If you go look now, it has been completely commercialized, capitalized. It's nothing but Cosmopolitan and Vogue and all these people who just really can't give you what you need. It's sad, yeah. Now, YouTube videos are still available though. The YouTube is still good, so. But anyway, so that's what I was doing. I was rushing home to read that. So anyway, back to this part of the story. I'm out of a job. I need to keep my apartment. And looked on Indeed. Nothing's coming up. I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out later. So while I was waiting on later, I was sitting down. Mind you, I come from a very diverse family background. I guess that's the way to put it, diverse. Aquarius, 4th house. 4th house is family. Aquarius is about something that's odd, different, and unique. And so on the maternal side of my family, we struggled. We struggled with poverty quite often. And then on my father's side, you know, we lived in a 2-story house and we had a nice car. So I would be with my father sometimes, like 2 times out of the month, and then with my mother most of the month. So I was going back and forth between strife and okay, strife and okay. So when I was with my mom on that side, I was laying down, I was on a mattress on the floor in my brother's room. And I'm tweeting, I'm learning all this stuff about pregnancy astrology. Truth be told, I thought I was pregnant. I was with that dude, and
Hey, that'll do it.
And you know I'm a superficial Libra. He was fine, so I was like, oh, my baby gonna be cute. Okay. I was happy. Look, Pisces 5th house, baby. I was delusional. I was going through it. But I had just stopped. I don't know why, guys, but this is a real story. I didn't have a cycle for like months. So I really thought I was pregnant. Like, I was like, I must be. And then, do y'all remember those TLCs? I didn't know I was pregnant. They would go and get ultrasounds. It'd be no baby. They're on the toilet. Then there's the baby. So I was like, oh, that must be me. And I was convinced. And I went to the doctor. He gave me ultrasound. He was like,
Yeah.
I don't see nothing. And I was like, nah, it's TLC. Don't worry about it. So delusional. I was very delusional. But that's okay, because that delusion led me to being right here where I am now. So maybe your delusions can help you sometime. Maybe. But either way, though. So I was very obsessed with pregnancy, though. I was really into it. So I started looking up the astrology of pregnancy. Very few people had done that before. And then I had a friend, shout out to my friend, who was a whole lesbian, but she had got her ass pregnant. So she was pregnant. She was, ask her. So she was, okay. And then fucked around and was pregnant with twins. How you do that? I know, she crazy. That's my girl though. We graduated high school together. So she was pregnant with twins. So we was hanging out that summer. I'm learning astrology. I'm in between jobs, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I'm going to try to guess what kind of babies you got. I'm going to try to guess. So I had so much fun. Back to the human design part of the story. I was having so much fun doing the research for pregnancy and astrology, not knowing that I'm a generator, that I'm generating energy, not realizing how excited I was. I was excited. I was like, wow, this is so cool. Just so much excitement building. But I didn't even know it. I didn't recognize it. In my mind, I was just living my life. I didn't understand what was actually going on, right? So then one day she goes to the doctor. She comes back and she's like, oh my gosh, guess what? It's twin girls. You were right. Cool. And then, they were like, I'm going to find out next time if they're, wait, which one happened first? Actually, wait, before we found that out, she knew they were girls, but we had to find out whether they, no. She knew they were twins, but we didn't know if they were girls or boys. We didn't know if they were identical or fraternal. And they can tell you in the womb whether they are identical or fraternal beforehand. That's what it was. So we just knew they were twins. So when I was looking at her chart, I should have put it up here. I didn't know I was going to tell this story. I was looking at her birth chart, and she had Venus and Mercury closely conjunct, forget which sign, in her 5th house. And through a combination of different research, I was like, you know what? It's Venus and Mercury. It's this sign. It's going to be fraternal twin girls, right? That was my final guess, fraternal twin girls. And I was right. I was right. And I have never felt excitement like that in my life. I remember the feeling. Ooh, girl, I was so geek. Mind you, I still don't know what an astrologer is. This is just some hobby I do. Like, it's just my little thing. Whatever, right? So I was geek. So I get on Twitter. Now, mind you, I didn't have an audience. I've had my Twitter account since I was 15 years old. Also, remember at the beginning when I was talking about invitation, if you have projected channels in your design, I was invited to Twitter. One of my friends had said, you should make a Twitter. I was invited to Twitter, and that ended up paying off for me years later. So I was just so excited. I don't have any astrology followers. Nobody talks about astrology with me. It was just me by myself. But I just make this entire thread. And Virgo Mercury in the 11th, I literally detailed my scientific findings, right? That 11th house Aquarian type energy, that is the scientist, the experiment. Virgo, the analyzer, Mercury, writing it down, communicating, putting it on paper. So I made a very long thread detailing those findings, and then that thread blew up. But I was so excited, so excited. I have never had so much excitement in my life. And so I just kept going, right? And then I'm emotional authority. So there were a lot of people, they were like, can you please give me a reading? Yes? Oh, my bad, I was stressed. Oh, it's okay. They were like, can you please give me a reading? And we want readings. And I was like, a reading? What's that? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I looked into it, and I'm like, oh, this is a job. I didn't know that. But I was very scared. I had fear motivation, didn't know that. So after a couple of days, see, I didn't realize that I was letting my emotional authority rock, and that I was letting myself come into clarity and go through the ups and downs before I decided to give people a reading. But then a few days later, I was sitting at my childhood kitchen table, the one that I was eating Fruity Pebbles at growing up, going to school, and I sat there, and I opened my DMs, and I did readings, and I made $800 in 2 hours. Woo. Now, mind you, I was living in Arkansas, so my rent was $600. So, whole rent covered, rent was cheap, and I had money left over for gas. Wow. So at the end of that, I was, who knows what I was? If I was a generator, at the end I was satisfied. I was so fucking satisfied. Mind you, I don't know human design. I did not know it, but everything is hitting. In retrospect for the story, it's all hitting. So what did I do? I kept repeating this process. I repeated this process for years. Doing something that made me happy, having fun, generating energy, satisfaction. Generating energy, satisfaction. And what did that lead me? It led me to Imani, my best friend, my ex-girlfriend. We had a wonderful relationship. She's still my best friend. I was able to take care of myself. I take care of myself very well. I don't have to ask my parents for help. I have a job I enjoy. It led me to being right here, right now, and so many other things. It changed my life because I was already following my design. I didn't know about it, but this is what it was. So when you follow your design, you're gonna get what's correct for you. You're gonna get the very best out of your chart. And that's what happened to me before I knew anything about this. And I think that's incredible. So here's a QR code you can scan for those of you that don't know your HD, or if you want to add this bookmark to your phone, go ahead and use that QR code. That's going to take you to my website, iJaadee.com/beginners, and you'll be able to get started. I made a whole step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and step 5 for learning your HD. And listen, you don't have to know every single little part. You don't have to learn all the gates. It's not like astrology where you do kind of need to understand a lot of the foundationals to get the most out of it. With human design, if you learn nothing else except your strategy and your authority, you're going to be good. You're going to be good, more than anything. And so the HD, it's a little bit deeper than just, and most of y'all know this, it's a little bit deeper than just, okay, get the best out of my astrology, but there's something else. And here we talk about 2027. So who knows about 2027? Who doesn't know about 2027? Raise your hands higher. Okay, good. That's a good amount of people. Let me explain it to you, okay? So every 400 years, we have what's called a global cycle shift. This means that every 400 years, the background frequency of the world changes. Remember how we all agreed on gravity and air being real even though we can't see it? Okay, so there's also this energy in the background, this frequency that changes on cycle every several centuries, right? We have one coming up in 2027. It'll be in February 2027. It is June 2025. That's less than 2 years. That's a year and a half. The world is not going to end. I'm not telling you the world's going to end. I'm not telling you that you're going to die. I'm not telling you to be scared. I'm not telling you that things are going to be bad. They're not going to be bad for you. Now, will things change? Yes, things will change. The world will be different. We will see it differently. All the things that we've known as a tribal society and tribal people will change, right? But this is why we have astrology. This is why we have community. And this is why we have human design. So that when these changes show up officially, because you can already start to see tariffs are going to go away. No, good. Because I was going to say, that's stupid. Don't think that. They're not going away. They're going to get worse over time, and they're going to slowly divide countries, divide tribes. It'll interrupt global commerce, global shipping. We don't know what that's like. All I know is Amazon, okay? So we don't know what that's like. But all those things, and those things will trickle down. The AI, all of those things, right? A lack of government dependence. You already can't depend on your government, but what does it look like when you really can't depend on it because the system that holds it up doesn't even work anymore when it cracks open? What does the government depend on?
Bullshit.
Jesus. What is the government? Capitalism, money, right? Okay, so what happens to a government if it doesn't have any money? You think they're going to give a fuck about you? They're going to be angry, an angry government, right? Very angry. So what does the government do if it needs money and resources, but it can't force you, well, it wants to force you to do it? What does it do?
Steal, conquer.
Conquer, martial law. It tells you we're going to do it this way, we're going to do it that way. It's going to stop you from trying to leave the country. All sorts of things, right? Now that's going to happen because of crypto. We'll get into that. Pluto in Aquarius, the first 20 years. Pluto's in Aquarius for the next 20 years. Who knows about Pluto in Aquarius? Period. Who doesn't know about Pluto in Aquarius? Who needs a little refreshing? Okay, for those of you that don't know, Pluto is the most powerful planet. It's the planet of power. It only goes through each sign every 250 years. So when Pluto changes signs, it is very significant for the state of the world. And this time, Pluto is changing signs right as we enter this new global cycle shift, right, per the human design, the 2027 global cycle shift. So this one is going to be very different. So these first 20 years of Pluto in Aquarius, Aquarian themes, remember Aquarius is the sign which represents themes. These Aquarian themes are essential to our survival. Pluto, remember the planet is the character, the player, right? So if Pluto is the character and the player, this character needs these themes to survive, right? So that's what human design is. It is Aquarian. It is about individuality. It's about living life, making decisions as an individual, as yourself. It didn't make sense at the time for me to be an astrologer. I was young, I was black, I was poor, and I'm gonna leave my little job instead of go get another regular job, and I'm gonna read astrology for people online. That doesn't make any fucking sense. And my dad didn't like it, my mom didn't like it. My dad was like, what about healthcare? You need to do this, you need to do that. And he never once asked me, well, you know, how are you paying your rent? Explain it to me. Could you just tell me? Like, this is really, he didn't say that. He was like, no, this and that and this and that. And it was all of these things, right? And I was scared too. I didn't know if this was, how long this was going to last. I didn't know if I was going to eat the next month or what I was going to do. Or if I would just end up staying in Memphis the rest of my life. I didn't know. But I was having fun. I was a generator. I was being myself. I was making my own unique decisions. Being an individual, but I didn't realize that. But now I can look back and I can see all the ways my individuality was taking care of me, was ensuring my survival. And that's what it's going to be up for you to do. Understand? Does anybody have any questions about that or any points they want to make about that?
I relate really to your story. I'm a tarot reader. I actually work with a woman in the story. I offer readings here.
That's how we met.
I really resonate with your story because I was working as a makeup artist for several years prior to the pandemic. I worked for NARS. And I lost my job in the pandemic. You can't do makeup on people when you have to social distance, and nothing was happening. So I had already been studying tarot for fun for myself, and I am a projector.
Period.
So didn't know about human design at the time, but was well versed in tarot and astrology. I don't consider myself an astrologer. Tarot is my trade. But I was invited by a friend to post on TikTok. I said, I don't know what that is. And then when I found out what it was, I was like, well, I don't dance. So, I don't know where this is going. But she said, no, Effie, there's a lot of people that are sharing their tarot and their astrology on here. There's a community for it. So I started sharing, and I actually went viral very quickly. And was able to change my booking website overnight to bookings for tarot readings, and I ended up going from not having any clue what to do, but like following a call, and you know, it doesn't need to be astrology or tarot. It could be literally whatever just is your gift or whatever you feel joy about and you feel passionate about and you can't stop thinking about. If you share that unique gift, it's like the universe does help to assist the stepping stones and puts you in the right places to meet the right people and to interact with. And it's not easy to trust me, it really isn't. It's really an act of faith, but that's an ongoing process. But from then, when my job did ask me to come back, I had already been 2 booked to.
I know that's right.
What's your TikTok? So I'm Let's Ask Spirit.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm Let's Ask Spirit because I need to put that out there that I'm a Cancer sun and moon in the 8th house. So I'm trying to disappear and then I come out again. So I can't always be on and in front of people, but community is really important to me, and I love connecting with people. So Let's Ask Spirit. I didn't mean to plug myself, but if you
No, good. Plug yourself. Plug. The fuck? This is a networking event. Yeah, this is a networking event.
I do programming here. We're featured in Forbes and Thrillist, and we do a lot of fun things here at the school. So if you're interested, I do sessions here, and I'd love to connect with any one of you. And I've been really loving this refresher in astrology.
Yes. I'm so glad you came. Somebody had told me that Effie liked astrology, and so the next time I saw her, I was like, do you want to come to the class? I heard she was like, oh my God. I'm so glad you came. That was a really good story.
Thank you.
And it's a very important story because it's not just me. I'm not the only one. Other people are letting their individuality unlock the key to their survival. This is what Pluto and Aquarius is about. This is what you need to do. It is crucial. Human design is about decision making. It's about making decisions using your unique design, your strategy, and your authority, right? And it's the only way you're going to unlock the life that's meant for you. So, global economic shift. Let's talk about money. Okay, who wants to talk about money?
Yes.
Period. So, global economic shift. What do you guys think is going to happen to the economy, to money in the upcoming years? What are you saying? What are we feeling? Does anybody know?
Dollar's gonna devalue.
Dollar's going to devalue. United States dollar's crumbling, right?
Bartering.
Bartering, more bartering, yeah, trading. You know what? On Depop, the girls be having the cutest shit, and they'll be like, trade only. And I'm like, damn it. I don't want to take my stuff. But I'm noticing it more. Like, the girls are like, fuck your money, trade only. Like, yes, more bartering, okay, right? So, what's going to take its place? If right now we have capitalism, hustle culture, and a high U.S. dollar, what takes its place? Who?
We're gonna go digital.
Digital, okay. There's a certain word I'm looking for.
Bitcoin, crypto.
Eric, go ahead and say it.
I believe cryptocurrency, but I don't know.
But the word starts with a D.
Decentralized.
Decentralized. Currently, all money, all government banknotes are centralized to your government, which has federal reserves, federal buildings that print the money, control the money. You know the money in your pocket, you know you don't own that, right? You know that US dollar is not yours, right? You know that can be seized, right? Right, that happens, okay? But if you have Bitcoin or my coin, which is called Rain, who can take it from you?
Nobody.
Who can tell you what to do with it?
Nobody.
And what's going to happen to our government if you have all this money that they can't access? It's going to get mad. At some point in time, it's going to be very, very difficult to leave the United States because they're not going to want people to leave and they don't make any money, and it'll get very difficult. It's already kind of difficult now. Little bitty things are happening, right? Global economic shift. So this leads me to my next thing. This was a Back-to-Basics astrology class, but secretly it's a class for you to become individual. Individual decisions, individual in appearance, and individual money. Individual, making your own money your own way, having full control of it. Cryptocurrency, okay. Imagine actually owning your money and not being forced to pay taxes. Who loves taxes? I fucking hate taxes. I mean, maybe it wouldn't be so bad if they just tell you what you owe and then you just took deductions from there. But it's very difficult. It's very confusing. I called a tax lady earlier this year. My last tax guy, he did me dirty. He did me so dirty. I knew him for years. He fucked me up. Girl, I was paying him per month, the monthly thing that I owe him, so he can keep up with my stuff and do my bookkeeping, and he's supposed to file my little things. Because you know when you have an LLC or stuff, I was paying him to do that. He wasn't doing it. So yeah, so then I called another lady. Okay, I tried to get 2019. I'm like, what are you talking about? I already paid for that, so now I gotta go through all that. This is not fun, okay? So that's why we're gonna move to cryptocurrency, where there are no taxes because there is no centralized government to pay, where all my money is mine. Cryptocurrency rests on you believing in something, right? Why does the US dollar have value?
Because we say it does.
Essentially, it is backed by gold, and there are a lot of things that the US does have that do make our dollar more worthwhile than others. But essentially, it does boil down to because I say it does, to some extent, right? But for cryptocurrency, this is what it's going to boil down to, because you say it does. Because the only way any crypto, not just mine, not just Bitcoin, any of it, the only way any of it is actually going to get somewhere is if millions and millions of people decide to say it does. Is if millions of people decide to say, I don't want your US dollar. If you want to buy my coffee or buy my purse, you're going to have to pay me in this currency that I believe in and that I value. That's the only way it works. That's the only way we get from under this trap that we're currently in. This system that keeps us down and determines what we can and can't do and how much we can and can't do it with, right? So, Bitcoin, Rain, Astrofolio. Who knows about Bitcoin? Okay, period. Who doesn't know about Bitcoin? You don't know about Bitcoin? Let me wait for this truck to pass. It's a little loud. Okay. So Bitcoin is basically digital money, right? Money of the future. Bitcoin was actually created in 2008 in response to the U.S. economic crisis. Remember the 2008 recession? So Bitcoin was created in response to that. It's digital money, and it operates on a technology that we call the blockchain. And the blockchain is essentially a public system where you can see who made what transaction with Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency, but you cannot see who made it. So the money is still private, your identity is still private, but because of the public blockchain, you can verify that the money was actually there, that it was sent to where they said they were gonna send it to. There's verifiability there, right? So it's digital money, it's not owned by any government, it's not controlled by anybody but you. And it's my personal belief that it's the way of the future. And so similar to Bitcoin, we have Raincoin. Who has Raincoin? Who's holding Rain? Period. Give it up for y'all. Give it up. Period. Who has at least 100K in Rain? 100,000 coins. Oh, period. I know that's right. Okay. Rain millionaires? Any Rain millionaires? Ah, no, that's right. Scorpio, right? You're Scorpio, right?
I'm a Virgo.
Oh, okay, I thought you were Scorpio. My bad. Period, my sister. Okay, so Raincoin is actually the coin that I designed for my community. I've built an astrological empire through my brand, and now I'm going to build an economy too. So, don't tell me. Nayeli. So Nayeli wanted to serve coffee at this event, and I really wanted her to serve coffee, but the facilities do not allow us to bring outside food or drink. But if she had been able to bring that coffee, you would have been able to pay for that coffee in Raincoin. In this coin, this currency, this economy that I made, you would have been able to pay in Raincoin. That's saying something. You understand what that means? You understand little steps like that, being able to pay for your coffee in Rain. Next thing you know, you can buy a car or a house, and it goes from there. That's where we're headed, decentralization. And so unlike the US dollar, where it's been around for a long time, but the people who make the most money in the United States, the people who were really early were the slave owners, the people who owned slave lands and plantations. They made tons and tons of money off the backs of unpaid labor, right? They were early to the capitalistic economy we would come to have today, right? So in this same way, minus the slave labor, you are early. You can get Raincoin cheap, right? It's still less than a cent. Right? Bitcoin costs how much? Who knows how much Bitcoin costs? One Bitcoin. It's $100,000. You didn't know that?
No.
Yes, honey. One Bitcoin is $100,000. When I was 13 years old, I was online. I was always chronically online. I know y'all saw those 11 house placements, okay? I was chronically online. And I heard about Bitcoin. I don't know how I heard about it, but I did. And I do have Aquarius placements. I'm often able to see the future. I had that flash, that vision flash, and I was like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be valuable. So I ran to tell my dad. I was like, Dad, we got to get some Bitcoin. And he didn't know how to do it, and I didn't know how to do it because I was 13. And at the time, it was only worth maybe like 10 cents. This is like 2010. You know how much it would have been worth now? You know how much $10 back then at about a cent or 10 cents per individual coin. Let's see. There's 100 pennies and $1. Let's say it was worth a cent. That's 100 shares. So if I had bought $1 back then, that would be $1 million. If I had bought $10 back then, I'm not really that good at math, but it would be a lot of money. It would be a lot of fucking money. It was right in my face, guys. It was right in my face, but obviously that wasn't meant to be me, because if it was, I wouldn't know you guys. Okay, I would have grew up like Paris Hilton. But anyway, yeah, so then fast forward 2017, I'm in college, I'm fucking with the hood niggas, I'm doing my thing, having a good time. Then boom, Bitcoin hits $10,000 for the first time. It was on the news, it was everywhere. I was like, oh my God, Bitcoin, I should have got some, But I thought I was too late. So I was like, okay, whatever, fuck Bitcoin. I guess I was late, it hit 10K. Mm-hmm. That was 2017, why didn't I get it then? Mm-hmm. I didn't know. And here we are, 2025, now it's $100,000. If only I had just did it back then, when I was 17, when I was old enough. So It's not going anywhere. My point in telling you this story is about cycles. This has come back around again and again in cycles right before my eyes. It's going to be the same thing, not just with my coin, but with other coins too. New economies are forming. Because of the internet, you have the power to create your own economy or build one and be a part of something, to believe in something, right? To create your own sovereignty. This is your invitation to be early, to be sovereign, to be inside of something before the rest of the world catches up. That's what Rain Coin is doing. That's what it's going to do, okay? And that leads me to my next one.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
how you buy rain coin?
Okay, that one's not the Rain Coin
Yeah.
one. This one is actually for Astrofolio. So who knows what Astrofolio is? Okay, period. Who doesn't know what Astrofolio is?
I don't know what
Okay, check it out. You guys all, some of y'all drove over an hour for an astrology related class, right? For astrology. You fucking love astrology, right? Some of you guys have paid for services from me or from other people for astrology, right? You spent money. If the class was $20, you would have paid for it, right? Okay, so if there's an astrology coin for each of the 12 signs, and we know that people pay for astrology products and drive hours for them, what are they going to do when they can put any amount of money of their choosing into the coin that represents their sign? They're going to buy that shit. They're going to buy it. They're going to keep buying it. The whole world loves astrology. People love their signs. Look at any tweet with any zodiac sign. Who is going up? People love that shit. So it only makes sense that the astrology coins would also do well. Does that not make sense? Yes. It makes perfect fucking sense. It's inevitable, right? It's inevitable. So I do have a very strong belief, not only in my own coin, bless you, but in the Astrofolio coins as well. I've got the most money in Leo. Shout out to Leos. We want the Leo coin to the best. Any Leos here? Yeah. Hey Leos, my sisters. Hey. So Leos do well. Last time I checked, I haven't checked in a minute because you can't obsess over your stocks. You gotta leave them alone. But I haven't checked in a minute. Last time I checked, Gemini was racing up to the top of the charts like the little demons they are.
Those crazy kids.
Those crazy kids. So it only makes sense. Who has never bought crypto before? I did put instructions on this QR code. If you need my personal help, DM me on Twitter. That's where I see most of my messages. DM me on Twitter if you need help. I will message you. There is a video link on there. And then listen, once you buy this, once you get your rain coin, now also, if you're in the cult, or if you're going to be in the cult at the end of today, right? If you're going to be in the cult at the end of today, you don't need to buy rain because I will just give it to you. I will just share it with you. When you're in the cult, I just give you the rain coin. It's kind of like if somebody gives you a stock and then it just keeps growing. It's the exact same thing. I'm giving you a stock. It'll just keep growing. This is the value of being early in community. This is early Pluto and Aqua. We are so lucky to be here. We're all so lucky to be here, right? If you need help, like I said, just DM me. There's also a video link if you need a video help that's on there. Okay, guys. And wait. And we're also going to Japan. Fall 2025. If you're a part of the cult, please come join us. As you can see, I do appreciate family, crypto, astrology, and human design. I would love for you to come to Japan with us. We're supposed to be going fall 2025. It's June right now. We'll probably start buying our tickets next month. But if there's enough people that want to go, need some more time, I'm totally okay with pushing it back. As a matter of fact, human design-wise, Pluto is in gate 41. Gate 41 is the gate of delays. And Pluto is the planet of transformation. So through delays, we have better transformation. We have more depth. There's something else to access. So I'm okay with delaying it. If you want to go and you're like, Jade, I can't buy my ticket next month, I will delay it. I want to go, but I want to go with you guys. I want to have a good time. Please join the cult if you haven't already. It's really amazing. Thank you for being here with me. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much. Really great class. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or anything you want to say? And feel free to come up. Whatever y'all want to do. If you want us to pull up your chart, like what do you want to do? Last one up here is Rodney.
All right, come on, do me.
Oh,
I don't know.
I said last one up here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, also real quick, hey everybody, my name is Rachel. I'm with Beauty and Brains. So we are celebrating our 7th birthday this week. So we have a happy hour happening from 7 to 11 today. So if y'all want to pull up, it's $7 drinks, $8 food. So yeah. Pull up. All of you all should be on a circle. I think that's how you RSVP here. So the information and the event is also on a circle. So pull up on us. We're gonna be drinking, having a good time, and yeah, everybody's invited.
Is this stream on?
Oh, no, no one
Okay.
I'm only just now starting to travel. Peter's in my night now.
Okay, me too, girl.
It just, it just hit my night now.
I saw a TikTok that you should possibly travel time.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a Leo? Oh my God.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Come back to see me. I will say hi. I will see your face.
Yes. Okay, follow us through.
Okay? And drive safe. Yeah. Remind me to, yeah, I want to follow the conversation. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, baby.
Yeah.
What's she doing? What's going on? Okay.
Just let me have the moment.
She's okay. She's okay. Yeah, she's not So both of us have high mind.
Yeah, I certainly know. This is Astrology. Maybe I should, yeah, so me and like a couple other people are like working for Astrology.
You and your sister
And there's like a whole story there, but basically, yeah, there's a 1230 XI cryptos.
Oh, shoot, you going through a seven turn right now.
Yeah.
Oh, you was a 96, baby.
Yes.
Wait a minute. I'm sure I can
I personally think it will literally go to 50.
Yeah, no,
I think it will
29.
really go up.
I thought you said 25
Oh,
earlier.
she's 25.
Okay, I
She's 25. I'm 29.
There are no other astrology points.
Right.
Okay, go ahead, Jay.
I won January.
We gotta go
That's funny.
No, that's valid. Y'all, while they going through my computer and shit, and then they seen Brian from Hinge.
They see my booty on there.
That's fine.
They got shows,
Actually, you think I could say like a 2-minute piece on Astrofolio?
If you would like
Is
to.
that cool? Okay. Yeah, so hey guys, I'm Eric. So I'm like part of the core team for Astrofolio. I mean, just to give you like a small recap or small intro, basically. For me, yeah, I've been in crypto super long time. Based on, I mean, just straight up stuff. Like first became a crypto millionaire in 2017. I think that what you guys are doing is super amazing because for me, like what contributed to everyone I know, our success is a lot of women actually have no digital communities whatsoever, but men, like we all have our digital communities. Like we all have like our friend group. Like my core friend group, I got into like a crypto chat in like 2016. It's like 30 guys, all just normal guys. Now everyone is like super loaded, right? Like we all help each other. And, like,
Now we're fucking rich.
yeah, but it's like, it's only because we have the chat. Like real stuff, right? And like women don't have that because maybe they don't play video games or like they don't, whatever. But like you guys actually have it, whether it's like Jade's group or like Beauty and Brains, whatever. Like you gotta have that. Like girls have to have that. Otherwise, it's just never gonna happen. So like, yeah. Anyways, point being, you know, I've been in crypto a long time. 2024, we launched me and like a group of other people. We launched the Astro coins. I'm big in astrology. I'm really big in astrology. That's like my passion as well. But
Show them back your shirt.
yeah, they're pretty cool. We put a lot of effort into the design. But ultimately, who knows what market cap means? Like market capitalization? Yeah, what's it mean? Anybody?
I don't want to explain it.
number of coins with the value that's actually in circulation with the actual value of the coin currently. Right?
Exactly. So it's just the price of the coin times the number of coins.
Yes.
So like Bitcoin has a market cap of 2 trillion. Okay, Ethereum is 300 billion. Solana is like 70 billion. Dogecoin is 26 billion. There's a Walgreens across the street. The Walgreens stock is like 10 billion. How much money you can make is totally based on like what market cap you get in. If you get in at a low market cap, it can go to a high one. If you're buying, like if you buy Bitcoin at 2 trillion, how high can it go? Maybe it can go to 5 trillion, 10 trillion, whatever. But that's, you can make a couple X. With Astrofolio and Rain, Rain is I think in the like hundreds of thousands. Astrofolio is 7.2 billion or 7.2 million. Meme coins regularly go to 1 billion, right? Like there are numerous meme coins at 1 billion. Doge is 26 billion, Shiba is 10 billion, Fartcoin is 1.5 billion. Astro coins are 7.2 million. I think they will be the same as Fartcoin, right? Fartcoin is 1.5 billion. That is literally like 180x. So I'm invested personally when we launched the Astro coins. Satoshi Nakamoto gave himself 5.3% of all Bitcoin. That's how he structured it. He didn't want to have like too much, so that's how much like we took. So it's a very distributed coin. It's very much the world's coin because we want it to last forever. Like I think it will outlast maybe my life. So Astrofolio. Any questions about it? Feel free to ask me.
Amazing.
Very passionate.
Yeah.
And I encourage you guys to get in like earlier.
I was gonna say right now.
Yeah, because like time is of the essence with this stuff, but like again, you guys have your community, like help each other out. Like that's how it happens, So good stuff, guys. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. Yeah, I was gonna say how can we connect with you?
Twitter is best. Twitter is best if you have Twitter. You don't have Twitter? Telegram and Twitter are really the best. What's your Twitter is
I don't use it. I won't want a new account now.
But then my
I feel that.
But I do kind of personal. So it's like that's my personal Twitter. Yeah, you guys, anyone can just DM me on Twitter anytime.
Wow. Hey.
Wonton Wallet, WANTON.
Standing here this whole time. Sorry. Hello there in TV land.
There is actually a Telegram room for Astrofolio. It's just called Astrofolio. But I don't know. I would say follow the Astrofolio Twitter. If you search like Astrofolio Soul, Astrofolio and then SOL because it's on Solana. Okay, but yeah, it took plenty of time. But yeah, I'm like super pumped to be here. You guys are.
How'd you get into astrology?
For me personally, I got into trader my whole life, and so from like 2017 until 2022, the market was like, do you know what like Jupiter transits are? It's like a once a year change in the sign of Jupiter, right? So like a lot of people trade moon cycles, like that is a common way to trade, that is like moderately successful. But like for me personally, I just want to know like the broader theme, like what's going to happen like this year. I don't need to like nail every single month because it's just going to be much harder and it's far less likely to like win all the time. It's going to have a lower strike rate. So I just like was following this guy who was doing that. He was just crushing, and I was like, all right, well I gotta learn this. And this guy's crushing, and so yeah, then I just got super deep, and same as Jade, like just super deep.
What's your experience with talking to other men about astrology? Because oftentimes there's kind of sort of this weird wall block.
Yeah. So
how do you get not so woo to them?
Yeah.
Like,
So I do my thing, right? Like I'm gonna do me no matter what. But for them, it's like, is there a loss? I think for me, so I originally saw this other guy who was just crushing the markets, and then frankly, my friends saw me and they're like, wait, like Eric's been like always right. Like what's going on? And then the results kind of speak for themselves. And so then I'd be like, how you doing? I'm like, well, you want to learn astrology, I can teach you. But otherwise, to be fair, astrology is not my only part of the strategy, but it's part of my arsenal.
Just to have people not ostracize you.
Yeah, so like a lot of my friends.
I noticed that amongst women, we can kind of.
So straight up, like I lived in Singapore, so like in Asia people are just like, they're cool with astrology, honestly. Asian people, like Indian people, they're pretty cool, you know. In America specifically, it's generally rejected. It's generally instantly rejected. But you know, it's their loss. And I still tell people, frankly, over time, like that original group chat that I told you about, there's maybe like 35 guys in the group chat. Literally everyone is loaded. Some guys are worth like hundreds of millions now. Everyone started from nothing. Like that's just what happened in crypto. I believe it will continue to happen. It's part of the age of Aquarius. It's just going to continue to happen. Probably half those guys believe in astrology at this point because they just seen too much. But it's not my job to convince anybody to believe in astrology. It's just like astrology is a belief system which like persists, whether people choose to believe in it or not, right? Like the coins are like they're here, like the signs are still here, they've been here, they're gonna be here. I think, yeah, dude, like I'm so bullish on Astrofolio. Like it says Billionaires Club, like there will be some people who can I just think it can be that big because like it's astrology. There's no better brand. There's no better brand. Yeah, I would recommend buying like, you know, I mean, what's realistic, right? Like if you buy like, you know, $3,500 worth, and that goes to like be half of what Fartcoin is today. Fartcoin. If it goes to be half of what Fartcoin is today, that's $500K, right? So like, it's a you know, as it goes up, the returns become less and less. If you're buying it at 50 million, but yeah, and then yeah, and it's just like you know, like how would you even know about Astrofolio? A lot of people do. It went to 100 million in December, which is pretty awesome. Now it's back down to 7.5. That's kind of the nature of it. So it did go to 100 in December. So you know, the market cap is the value of all the coins. That's, you know, it's a big achievement. And things that like do that, you know, by market cycles, right? Like the most likely thing, if it doesn't die, then the most likely thing is for it to do it again, right? Everything that doesn't really take too stronger, it becomes linear. But yeah, most guys resist the Astro stuff. But I'm like Jade, I'm pretty good at reading this stuff. So sometimes I'll just like give people a read, and you know, most of the time it hits. Sometimes I end up missing. I think she's better than I am. I consider myself pretty good. She's better than I am. 2018, I started learning. Yeah, same. Are we being recorded? Maybe I'll step aside.
Yeah, we're literally on the bed.
But yeah, man, it's like, what was your name? India? From It's just like super complicated. I wouldn't say it in front of the camera, but it's pretty rare that you find people who are like both good at marketing and also competent. Usually the people who are really good at marketing, but she is. So I'm like, okay, exactly. I actually don't really know who yeah. I ran myself. Mine is
Like getting like options like this. It's like 19 years.
It's like there's like feng shui thoughts. So they're all the same. They really are.
Hi stream. Okay, it is still streaming. I'm Jennifer again with the Beauty and Brains organization. We're so happy we got to host this event with Jade. Just you guys already know if you're following her how inspirational she has been to those of us who love and engage with astrology. When that word? Yes, literally are. This is going on. If you're in Chicago or just anywhere actually, you know, it's very digital. Tap in with Beauty and Brains. We host events and host just connecting people, doing stuff like this all the time. So that's Beauty and Brains org. On IG, we're letter B, girl.org on our website. And so just tap in with us for just more stuff like this. Again, I was trying to explain. If you're into astrology, you're on this stuff. We've Jade is the reason we're into astrology. We've been following her on Twitter since literally 2019. And so, full circle moment to be 2025. Just talking to this. To be here dancing with Jade, hosting her event in Chicago is surreal, literally crazy. So, just yeah, follow along. I'm so glad you guys got to witness her class.
That's what I'm
Possibility. Yeah, I don't know. We also have this room like
I came to answer, and then I got invited to my friend, so I extended my stay. And then I met Jennifer and Janet, and they made history, and they took a table. Yeah, and they just came and talked about it so much. So this is totally unplanned. I'm just the next thing unplanned. I'm so glad. I'm really glad y'all did that. It's just what I'm
I go to like a couple crypto conferences.
Jupiter and Gemini. There's also Saturn and Gemini in the 6th house. Yeah, so like, how would you navigate that energy? I feel like sometimes when it comes to my life, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness, I like it. And then it just, once I leave and stop doing it, I don't really go back to it. I feel like my inspiration is very sporadic.
That's not. It's good.
I mean, generally, I either know them or I like know someone who knows them.
Yeah, I mean, okay, because I just be like, I don't know.
It's like,
No, that's good. No,
conversation.
Okay,
Maybe and then I do use it for astrology stuff. Like personally, I mostly use the AI for astrology and stuff like that. You know, I mostly use business stuff. So whenever I'm like trying to do straight business.
No, I get that. Are you a Cancer?
Yeah, exactly. There's like a niche Chicago.
Because why do Cancer feeling is beautiful? Can we like release me
I
from
don't
this?
really know that. I know most of the there's like a Chicago thing I went to where people actually go to. Yeah, when it is, I'll let you know. Exactly. It's usually like
Taking over Jade.
Oh yeah, I was in Gemini, so I'm not on Twitter. So okay, so you're very but then somebody can bring you right.
Good, Tony? Y'all still here? Oh my gosh. Hey guys. Okay guys, I need to use my phone, so I will have to talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for coming. I'm so glad you guys were here. I appreciate you for watching this live stream, and I will talk to you later. Hey boo.